cherry blossom season right now all over Japan, and it's beautiful. Cherry flowers are a symbol of the Japanese Imperial Army when the Meiji government started up in Japan, which is basically the fascists that took over Japan. And so for our ancient indigenous ancestors, they would look to the cherries like in the mountains, and when the leaves came out, then it was planting season. When the flowers came out, then it was like maybe harvesting season, whatever it was. I don't really know exactly. But the point of it is like wild cherries in the mountains were basically like an agricultural clock. It's a calendar for our ancestors. And so you can say that cherry blossoms or cherry trees were a symbol of life in a way. Then these elite Japanese men, pro-empire of Japan, come along, not representing the people, and they look at how the cherry flowers, the moment it blossoms, and that's when the petals flutter away. If the breeze blows, then all the petals are just all over them. They actually looked to it and then said, oh, that's exactly how we want the Japanese imperial subjects to consider as the weight of their life. Meaning, every single human being's life is so light. It actually says in the imperial rescript for soldiers that death is lighter than the feather of a bird. Komo yori karui. Komo yori karui means like, these soft down feathers that are like right in the under neck of the birds, like swans. Anyway, they said a death is lighter than that. They said, look at these cherry flowers at the height of its youth, when it's most beautiful. And that's exactly when you give it all away. They said that is the most virtuous way to live a human life. You got to do it in the name of the emperor. And it became national policy to plant cherry trees in the front of every school throughout Japan, as well as in these areas Japan went and invaded and occupied, which is why in certain cities in Korea and China and stuff like that, there are all these cherry trees that Japanese planted. And it wasn't to, beautify and stuff like that. It was basically to teach, to inculcate this particular mentality and to drum it into these imperial subjects from a very young age. You should aspire to want to die, when you have a full life ahead of you for the emperor. I mean, what do you think kamikaze fighters, where do you think they came from? You know what I mean? When Japan tries to, talk up this big game about like becoming a full-fledged nation that can, engage in military activities like all the rest of the world. I mean, they're not just talking about, just becoming another modern country. They're talking about reviving this kind of militarism in Japan. It's not like Japan has ever admitted, that it even was an aggressor nation. I mean, it's being erased from all the textbooks, what they did. But we can actually revive that story. We have to reclaim the cherry. We need to acknowledge the cherry was appropriated from the symbol of life that it was for the people that populated this archipelago, including zainichi Korean ancestors. It's not for them to define, devaluing a human life to nothing more than another kamikaze bullet to fight their fascist war.